The 20 greatest human inventions of the 20th century. Imagine waking up in a world where the ordinary feels like magic, where the hum of a machine in your home whispers secrets of a time when dust ruled the floors, and skies were for birds alone. What if every breath you take in a cool room, every bite of safe food, every glance at a screen flickering with distant worlds, traces back to a handful of sparks in one wild whirlwind century? 20 sparks, to be exact, bursting from the minds of dreamers, tinkerers, and stubborn souls who refused to let the impossible stand in their way. The 20th century wasn't a gentle stroll through history. It was a storm of fire and light, a century that tore down the walls of what we thought possible and rebuilt them taller, brighter, laced with steel and silicon. We're talking about the quiet genius that turned deadly plagues into manageable shadows, the bold leaps that shrank oceans to mere puddles of time, and the shadowed creations that made us confront our own power to unmake the world. These aren't dry facts etched in stone. They're living tales of sweat-soaked nights in garages, chance glances at forgotten petri dishes, and heart-pounding moments when a machine coughed to life for the first time. Join me on this winding path through time. We'll wander into dusty workshops and starlit deserts, eavesdrop on whispered breakthroughs in smoke-filled labs, and feel the tremor of history shifting under our feet. Some stories will pull at your heart with their quiet heroism. Others will send a shiver down your spine with their raw might. All of them wove the fabric of the life you lead today. The one where you can chase a sunset across continents, or summon knowledge from a pocket-sized glow. Breathe deep. The air itself is part of this tale. Let's begin. Number 20. The roar that killed dust. Step back to 1901, when homes were fortresses against the grit of the world, but never quite winning the war. Picture a sun-baked afternoon in a bustling city street, where a housewife hauls her threadbare rug out to the porch, her arms aching from the weight. She swings a broom with grim determination, clouds of gray powder exploding into the air like defeated ghosts. The wind, that sly traitor, swirls it all back, coating her apron in fresh defeat. This was the rhythm of life. Endless chase, fleeting victory, bones weary from the grind. Cleaning wasn't a chore, it was a sentence. Then came the roar, a guttural, mechanical growl that rattled windows and turned heads. The electric vacuum cleaner burst onto the scene, not as the sleek whisperers we know now, but as hulking monsters of iron and ambition. Early models were beasts indeed, some towed by patient horses through muddy lanes, their engines chugging like impatient dragons. They'd park curbside, a spectacle drawing crowds of wide-eyed neighbors, while operators in stiff collars uncoiled 50-foot hoses like serpents slithering through open sashes. Envision yourself as Eliza Thorne, a seamstress in a narrow terraced house, peering through lace curtains at the commotion. The street buzzes with murmurs. What's that contrivance? A pair of men, sleeves rolled high, thread the black tube through your door, its rubber lips gaping hungrily. The switch flips. The beast awakens. A thunderous whine fills the air, vibrating the floorboards, pulling at the edges of your skirt. You watch as the hose devours the crumbs under your table, the wool fibers of your carpet yielding their secrets to an invisible maw. Dirt doesn't scatter. It surrenders, vanishes into the belly of the machine, leaving behind a hush, a cleanliness sharp as fresh linen. This wasn't mere convenience. It was liberation. A thief in the night, stealing hours from drudgery and handing them back as dreams deferred no longer. Women found time for novels by lamplight, children for games unmarred by grit. The home transformed from battlefield to sanctuary, its air lighter, its corners unyielding to neglect. That roar echoed beyond parlors, reshaping the invisible labor that held families together. In the quiet after the storm, a new era settled, one where dust met its match, and humanity claimed a small but fierce victory over the everyday grind. Number 19. The invention that built cities in the desert. 1902 dawns humid and heavy in a Brooklyn print shop, where the air clings like a damp shroud, twisting sheets of paper into reluctant curls. Ink pools in uneven rivers. Prints blur like half-remembered dreams. And Willis Carrier, a young engineer with ink-stained fingers and a mind like a coiled spring, paces the floor. He's not chasing comfort for its own sake. No visions of lazy afternoons in chilled lounges drive him. It's the paper, stubborn and warped by summer's breath, that demands his war. Carrier sketches in the dim glow of gas lamps, his pencil tracing ducts and coils, fans whispering promises of control. What emerges is no fan or icebox, but a symphony of science, a system that wrestles humidity from the air, binding moisture like a spell and exhaling cool, steady breath. Installed in that very shop, it hums to life, the air shifting from swampy haze to crisp clarity. Paper lies flat, ink dries true, and the presses sing without stutter. A side whisper of coolness ripples through the room, unnoticed at first, then savored like forbidden fruit. But oh, the ripples that followed. This man-made weather didn't stay confined to factories. It seeped into lives, rewriting maps of where humans could thrive. The sun-scorched South, once a furnace shunned by all but the hardiest, bloomed with office towers and sprawling neighborhoods. In the Middle East, where sands whispered of ancient mirages, metropolises rose like defiant gardens, their glass facades gleaming under relentless skies. People migrated not from necessity, but from the pull of possibility. Jobs in cooled halls, homes where sweat didn't define the day. Consider the Nickelodeons of the era, those flickering palaces of escape. Posters didn't tout starlets or silver screen epics. They lured with a single, shimmering word: cool inside. Folks in sweat-damp collars queued in the heat, tickets clutched like talismans, slipping into velvet seats where the air wrapped them like a benevolent ghost. The film? A blur of motion, secondary to the chill that kissed their skin. Carrier's contraption, born of a printer's plight, outshone the glamour of Tinseltown itself. It whispered to the world, endure no more, build where you will. The desert, once a barrier, became a canvas, painted with the sweatless ambition of a cooled tomorrow. Number 18. The 12-second flight that conquered the sky. Winds whip across the dunes of Kitty Hawk on December 17, 1903, carrying the salt tang of the Atlantic and the chill bite of doubt. Two brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, huddle in their canvas shed, tools scattered like fallen stars, wrenches glinting, wires tangled in quiet rebellion. They're not scholars in ivory towers, these men from Dayton's bicycle shops, with calloused hands and eyes sharp as kite strings. They've chased the dream of wings through sand-swept trials, kites dancing on leashes, gliders kissing dunes in fragile arcs. 10:35 in the morning. The flyer waits, a fragile dragon of spruce and muslin, its engine sputtering prophecies. Orville climbs aboard, heart hammering against ribs, the sand gritty underfoot. Wilbur steadies the wingtip, his nod a silent vow. Wires tighten, propellers bite air, and then lift. Not a soar, but a skim. 12 seconds of defiance, 120 feet carved from the wind, shorter than a hawk's shadow. The machine settles, wheels kissing earth, but in that heartbeat, gravity yields. Later, Wilbur coaxes 59 seconds from the sky, 852 feet unfurling like a banner. Skeptics scoff in distant newsrooms. Hoax, they mutter. The notion of Ohio tinkerers taming the heavens too tall a tale. Yet the brothers persist, their shed a forge for futures. By 1952, silver birds ferry souls across seas in cushioned ease. The Boeing 777, a behemoth of the 90s, cradles 400 dreamers over 5,000 miles in 7 hours flat. 12 seconds. A blink, a breath, yet it shattered the cage of earthbound flesh. Imagine the hush in that shed as the engine cooled, the brothers' grins cracking through wind-burned cheeks. Humbling, isn't it? Two men, grease under nails, proving the sky no throne for gods alone. Their flight wasn't conquest. It was invitation, a whisper to every child gazing upward. Your turn to rise. Number 17. The material that refused to die. 1905 unfolds in a Belgian lab, where Leo Baekeland, a chemist with a flair for the unyielding, cradles a sheet of amber glow. Sunlight filters through grimy panes, catching the translucence as he flexes it, bends, twists, torques, watching it spring back unscarred. No crackle of shatter, no crumble to dust. To a circle of investors, suits starched and brows furrowed, he declares, "It defies rot, laughs at rust, mocks the frailty of glass." They lean in, breaths held, glimpsing not just a curiosity, but a phoenix of invention. Bakelite, he names it, the first true plastic, a synthetic brew of phenol and formaldehyde, born from failed photo paper experiments. No natural kin claims it. This is humanity's forge-born child, molded hot and proud. Stronger than wood in compression, insulator par excellence, it wears colors like a chameleon's skin, shaped by whim into knobs, casings, jewels. Decades ripple out, and it's everywhere. The curve of a radio's shell crooning jazz in 1920s parlors, the gleam of a car's dashboard under 1940s headlights, the whisper-smooth slide of nylon stockings on legs hurrying to war plants. In hospitals, it sheathes probes delving into hearts. In toys, it births worlds for small hands. Plastic isn't mere stuff. It's philosophy etched in polymer chains. Make once, use forever. Discard without guilt. Dream in endless forms. Baekeland's sheet, that defiant gleam, sketched the blueprint for a throwaway wonderland. We live swaddled in it now. Bottles light as air, phones tough as resolve, yet its birth whispers a cautionary breeze. Creation's gift, boundless and blind to its own weight. In the lab's hush, as the material held firm, the future flexed, unbreaking. Number 16. The car that came in any color, as long as it was black. 1908 sees Henry Ford's Model T rumble off lines, a Tin Lizzie for the masses. But the true alchemy brews 5 years hence, in 1913's Highland Park Forge. Ford, that flint-eyed visionary with a farmer's grit, unleashes the assembly line, a ballet of motion where steel flows like river water, workers as precise as clockwork birds. No more craftsmen hammering solos. Here, each hand claims a verse. Bolt this, weld that, as the chassis glides past on ceaseless belts. The tempo quickens to a Model T birthed every 93 minutes. A miracle of rhythm slashing costs from luxury to lunch money. By 1927's curtain, 15,500,000 Tin Lizzies prowl American veins, ferrying families to factories, picnics, promised lands. Suburbs spider out from city hearts, roads vein the wilds, the middle class swells like yeast in warm dough. Shopgirls clutching wheels, farmers trading plows for pedals. Ford's quip lingers like exhaust. Painted any hue, so long as black. Folks chuckle at tyranny, but truth hides in the gloss. That midnight sheen dried quickest under line's whip, no pause for slower shades. Black wasn't caprice. It was the pulse of progress, inked in urgency. That river of steel reshaped not roads but souls, freedom on four wheels, horizons yanked close. In the clang of hammers sinking to belts, society shifted gears, accelerating toward a sprawl where distance bowed to desire. Number 15. The discovery that defeated a death sentence. Before 1921's mercy, type 1 diabetes stalked like a thief in the night, stealing breath from the young with cruel indifference. Picture a child, pale as moonlight, wasting in a sun-dappled bedroom, eyes hollow, limbs thinning to whispers, the sweet rot of ketones souring the air. Families gathered in vigil, doctors murmuring of months at best. No potion to halt the body's betrayal. Sugar, life's nectar, turned poison in veins unprimed to claim it. Untold thousands slipped away, graves fresh as autumn leaves. Then, in Toronto's shadowed halls, Frederick Banting, a surgeon scarred by war's bite, teams with Charles Best, a lanky student with fire in his questions. Summer's heat presses the lab windows as they chase pancreas whispers, dogs sacrificed in quiet rites yielding golden fluid. August 19th, 1921. A diabetic pup, comatose on cool tiles, stirs under needle's kiss. Eyes clear, tail thumps. Insulin, they dub it, the hormone that tames sugar's storm. Human trials follow, trembling steps. A boy named Leonard Thompson, 14 and fading, receives the dose on January 11th, 1922. Fever breaks, color blooms in cheeks. The sentence commutes to chronicle, manageable with measured pricks. Banting's team refines, shares, saves. Millions spared the grave's pull, lives stretched to full tapestries. No fanfare at first, just grateful breaths in clinic hush. But the echo swells, a fatal specter dimmed to shadow, chronic but conquerable. This wasn't elixir from myth, it was grit distilled, late nights charting curves, vials glowing under lamplight. Insulin handed back tomorrows, proving medicine's heart. Not godhood, but guardianship, turning despair's tide with a steady hand. Number 14. The Ghost in the Machine. October 2nd, 1925 finds John Logie Baird in a Soho garret, shadows pooling around his whirring contraption of discs and lamps. London fog presses the panes as he aims at Stooky Bill, a ventriloquist's dummy with painted leer and wooden grin, Stooky's face a mask of mischief, lit by erratic bulbs. Gears grind, a lens spins like a frantic eye, and on a milk-glass screen, a specter blooms. Grayscale flicker of Stooky's mug, lips curling in silent jest. The first television image, transmitted across wires, a phantom born of light and longing. Baird's pulse races. Dummies won't do. He bounds downstairs, collars a startled clerk named William Tainton, who perches wary under the glare. Lenses focus, signals leap. William's face materializes, tones from pale to shadow. The first human broadcast, etched in ether. Months later, January 27th, 1926, a crowd in a dim hall gasps at Baird's demo. Images tiny as thumbnails, 3 by 2 inches, dancing at 5 frames a second. 30 scan lines weave the weave, coarse as sketch, demanding actors slather grease paint. Ghost white cheeks rimmed in kohl, eyes hollowed to voids. For contrast's cruel bite. July 14th, 1930, brings the BBC's inaugural play. The Man with a Flower in His Mouth. A Pirandello whisper of mortality, a dying poet sparring with a tardy traveler. No chases or laughs, just words weaving fate's thread on that flickering pane. From Stooky's leering ghost, a portal cracked open, living rooms soon aglow with borrowed worlds, firesides framing far-off dramas. Baird's machine, clunky kin to our sleek seers, birthed the glow that binds us, one spectral frame at a time. Number 13. The Forgotten Mold That Saved the World. Luck wears a blue-robed coat in Alexander Fleming's lab on September 3rd, 1928, when he shuffles back from Scottish hills, nose crinkling at the faint must of neglect. St. Mary's Hospital in London hums with post-holiday quiet as he sifts petri dishes, staphylococcus colonies blooming like bacterial meadows, save one. There, a mold intruder, Penicillium notatum's fuzzy halo, claims a throne. A halo of barren sand around it, bacteria banished to clear rings of defeat. Fleming squints, heart quickening. This isn't contamination's jest. It's quiet war. The mold weeps a broth that slays germs, a secret blade in broth. He scribes in 1929, penicillin, a name from its fungal kin. Whispers ripple through journals, but ears turn elsewhere. One elder deems mass yield near impossible. Peers file it as lab whimsy. Fleming, bruised by indifference, shelves the vial, its promise dimming like autumn light. A decade slumbers, the miracle mothballed amid economic gales and gathering storms. War's thunder cracks it awake. Oxford's Howard Florey and Ernst Chain dust off the ghost in 1939, their scales tipping toward purification. Broths, scaled in bedpans, yields eked from humble wheels of cheese. August 1942. Fleming, vial in hand, tends a policeman felled by meningitis, streptococcus raging unchecked. Injections flow. Fever ebbs. Wounds knit. Recovery blooms. Headlines howl. Wonder drug! Yet slights linger. The Times omits the trio till a superior's quill demands justice. Laurels belatedly laid. Shadows deepen the saga. 30 samples shipped to a Berlin Dr. Schmidt. Wartime whispers of Nazi pursuit. Allies scramble, convoys shielding secrets across Atlantic swells, lest the balm arm the foe. From holiday's haphazard blob to battlefield's grace, saving limbs in foxholes, mothers in maternity wards. Penicillin's arc bends from oversight to salvation. Millions breathe free, infections cowed. Fleming's glance, that mold's quiet conquest, reminds. Genius often hides in overlooked corners, waiting for war's clarion to sing. Number 12. The Engine That Shrunk the Planet. 1930s skies cradle a new fury, not propellers chop, but a ceaseless shriek of gas unchained. Frank Whittle, a Royal Air Force cadet with blueprints sketched on scrap, and Hans von Ohain across the channel, ignite the jet age. Turbines gulping air, flames birthing thrust in screaming azure. No piston plod, this is continuum, a blaze propelling craft beyond sound's sigh. Planes leap from languid crawls to arrow flights. Oceans, once weeks weary sail, fold to hours hush. 1940s war forges it fierce. Gloucester meteors streak over V-weapon shadows, Messerschmitts harry in prototype rage. Peacetime unfurls wings for all. Pan Am clippers evolve to Stratocruisers, then Boeings, ferrying souls from New York haze to London fog in 7 swift hours. Continents blur to neighbors. A Parisian artist sips espresso in Tokyo dawn. A Kenyan trader haggles in Chicago's loop. Commerce surges on jet streams. Spices from Siam scent Seattle shelves overnight. Tourists trace Incan steps, hearts alight with borrowed horizons. Cultures entwine like vines. Bollywood beats pulse in Bronx basements. Sushi stalls dot Sydney shores. Whittle's turbine, von Ohain's echo, didn't hasten flight. It dissolved distance, weaving our globe in threads of hurried hello. The world, vast as childhood maps, shrinks to a hearth where strangers share the flame. Number 11. The Destroyer of Worlds. Awe cloaks terror in the Manhattan Project's veil, a colossal hush spanning 30 sites, 130,000 souls toiling blind in secrecy's web. $2 billion vanish into labs and bunkers, minds like J. Robert Oppenheimer's, poet's soul in physicist's frame, wrestling atom's core. Uranium whispers yield to plutonium's growl, equations blooming like dark flowers under New Mexico's endless blue. July 16th, 1945, 4:50 a.m. Alamogordo's sands cradle Trinity, a gadget plump with peril. Oppenheimer watches from a jeep, wind dry as regret, as countdown hushes to zero. Light erupts, an artificial dawn, white-hot and merciless, birthing a fireball that claws skyward, stems swelling to mushroom crown. The blast's thunder rolls, shockwave shattering panes miles off. Oppenheimer's lips shape scripture's chill. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Less than a moon's turn later, August 6th, Enola Gay kisses 29,000 feet over Hiroshima, little boy tumbling free. 16,000 tons of TNT bloom in noonlight. 70,000 souls erased in vapor's sigh, shadows etched on walls where flesh once stood. August 9th, Fat Man kisses Nagasaki. 21,000 tons fury claiming 40,000 more. By year's dusk, 210,000 haunt the toll. Cities scarred like fever dreams, radiation's slow poison lingering in bones. No triumph's trumpet, only silence's weight. The bomb didn't end war alone. It birthed mutual dread, a sword over cradles, spurring treaties in uneasy truce. Oppenheimer's gaze, fixed on that unholy bloom, mirrors our own. Power's pinnacle, peril's precipice, humanity's hand on apocalypse's latch. Number 10. The Christmas Present That Built the Future. December 16th, 1947. Paints Bell Labs in Jersey Frost, where John Bardeen and Walter Bratton hunch over germanium's gleam. A sliver of crystal, dark as midnight promise. Gold foil whispers against its face, contacts kissing surface, voltage threading like a vein. Apply the spark. Input hums faint, output roars amplified 100-fold. A signal, born feeble, strides bold. The point contact transistor, etched in that slab's quiet heart. December 23rd dawns merry. They unveil to brass, William Shockley's eyes widening at the magnificent Christmas present. John Pierce christens it, transistor, from transfer resistor's tongue. 1948's fanfare murmurs far-reaching, a whisper dwarfed by destiny. This speck, no bigger than a thumbnail, replaces vacuum tubes' bulky blaze, birthing compact cunning. From it springs the digital dawn. Radios shrink to pockets. Computers shed room-sized hulks for desks' embrace. Satellites beam voices across voids. Watches tick with silicon souls. Phones cradle worlds in palms. Bardeen, Bratton, Shockley claim Nobel's gold in 1956. Their trios spark, seeding an age where bits dance in billions. That germanium glow, foil's fragile press, wasn't components kin. It was cornerstone, whispering to circuits. Think small, dream vast. The future, once lumbering giant, danced light on transistor's toe. Number 9. The Secret of Life. April 25th, 1953. Folds a single page into nature's leaves, a sketch. Humble helix twisting like lover's braid. Rungs of AT, CG, climbing sugar spines. James Watson and Francis Crick, Cambridge duo with youth's fire and rivalry's edge, crack life's cipher. Chains anti-parallel. Bases pairing in faithful lock. Blueprint unzipping for air's echo. Eureka spills into Eagle Pub's smoke. Crick's boast, "We found the secret of life," draws puzzled pints from locals, mistaking triumph for tipsy. Yet the latter leans on giants' shoulders. Rosalind Franklin's Photo 51, X-rays crystalline ghost, hands the helix's curve. Maurice Wilkins shares the diffraction's gift, but Franklin's lens, sharp as her wit, illuminates the spiral none saw alone. Tragedy shadows. Franklin fades to ovarian shadow in 1958. Nobel's 1962 crown, gracing Watson, Crick, Wilkins. Posthumous bar, barring her name. Controversy simmers, her foundational gaze eclipsed. A reminder science's weave frays at human seams. Coin's flip crowns Watson's lead on paper's masthead, quirk in eternity's script. That sketch, ink on foolscap, unveils our code. Inheritance's scroll, mutation's map, evolution's verse. From it blooms biotech's bloom, genes spliced for cures, crops hardy as hope. Life's manual, once mystic tome, lies open, its twists teaching us. We are pattern and poetry, coded clay reaching for stars. Number 8. The beep that started a race. October 4th, 1957, shatters Earth's solitude with a silver pearl. Sputnik 1, Soviet sphere no larger than a beach ball, polished gleam, hurtling at 18,000 miles per hour. Korolov's rockets kiss Baikonur's chill, payload piercing veil, up there, a radio pulse. Beep, 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 simple as heartbeat, echoing through ham radios worldwide. No cameras, no probes, just that insistent chirp, Morse of mastery, circling blue marble every 96 minutes. America stirs in Sputnik shock. Headlines howl, Red Moon. Congress convenes in frenzy. Eisenhower pens NASA's birth. The beep ignites rivalry's blaze. USSR's vanguard in void, a gauntlet flung to Yankee ingenuity. Space race surges. Vanguard stumbles. Explorer 1 leaps in 58. Vostok's cradle men. Apollos chase lunar dust. Satellites swarm, birthing GPS whispers, weather's watchful eyes, comms global chorus. Sputnik's sphere, dumb metal sentinel, didn't conquer, it called, urging us upward, where beeps birth brotherhood across black expanses. From that orbital hymn, humanity hymns back. We too shall soar. Number 7. The first man to see the dawn from orbit. Sputnik's echo fades to pulse, 4 years on. April 12, 1961, when Yuri Gagarin, broad-shouldered son of a peasant's plow, seals into Vostok 1's egg. Baikonur's gantries groan farewell. Korolov's voice steady in headphones. Poyekali. Off we go. Flames lash, Earth falls away. Gagarin arcs 108 minutes round the globe, weightless wonder in porthole's frame. He beholds the pearl. Ocean's sapphire swirl. Clouds veils over verdant patches. Terminator's line birthing dawn in slow fire. Sunrise unmarred by mountain's bite. The earth is blue, he murmurs, voice crackling home. And there's such beauty down there. No charts prepare for that curve. Fragile filigree against abyss. Home's hearth seen from outsider's gaze. Gagarin lands in Kazakh steppe, shoot blooming, locals sharing bread and milk. First cosmonaut, every man's envoy. He proves flesh endures vacuum's kiss, paving lunar lanes and station spires. Not hero alone, but harbinger. Humanity's heart, unbound, gazing back at cradle with newborn eyes. That orbit's loop, dawn's stolen glimpse, stirs souls still, reminding us. From up there, borders blur, and we are one blue breath. Number 6. The message that crashed the internet. October 29th, 1969, 10:30 p.m. UCLA's glow cradles Charlie Klein at a teletype's keys, fingers hovering over ARPANET's cradle, a defense net weaving labs in digital thread. Stanford awaits, two nodes in military's web of whispers. Klein taps L. Packet leaps, acknowledged. O. Echoes true. G. Crash. Circuits seize, screens blank. The net, babe in bits, buckles under ambition's weight. Lo, it gasps. Login's orphan, prelude to behold. Hour's tweak revives it. Full word flows. But that stutter marks birth. Flawed, fierce, utterly ours. ARPANET swells, 30 nodes by 73, tendrils to Hawaiian shores, Britain's isles. Email eclipses all, missives zipping sans stamps. From Crash's cough blooms the web we weave. Forums fostering friendships, streams sharing symphonies. Knowledge's bazaar at fingertips call. Klein's low, military mishap turned miracle, threads us tight. Flaws forge yielding connections gold. Number 5. One small step. 1969 pulses with promise as July 16th hurls Apollo 11 skyward from Kennedy's pad. Saturn V's roar, drowning gull cries. Neil Armstrong, steady pilot's poise. Buzz Aldrin, module's wizard. Michael Collins, command's sentinel, trio bound for moon's dusty hush. Kennedy's vow etched in flame. Man there and back, ere decade's dusk. July 20th, 4:17 p.m. Eastern. Eagle whispers to tranquility's gray. Dust blooming in low G puff. Tension coils global. 650 million eyes on grainy feeds. Breaths synced to countdown. 10:56 p.m. Armstrong's boot breaches stirrup. Words etching eternity. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. A slips in thrill's rush, but intent soars, humanity's print in alien soil. 2 hours ramble, rocks pocketed like treasures, flags stiff in vacuum breeze, salutes to earthbound throng. Plaque whispers, we came in peace for all mankind. Collins orbits lone, tethers ghost, ascent flares, rendezvous kisses Columbia home. Quarantine's glass walls 18 days, lunar grit probed for peril, heroes emerge, parade waved, promise kept. That step, dust's dimple under boot, expands us, not conquest, but caress, worlds waiting, wild and wondrous. Number 4. A moon mission in your pocket. 1971 cradles quiet quake in Intel's Santa Clara hive, where Ted Hoff, Federico Fagin, Stanley Mazer etch a chip's dream. 4,000 transistors wedded in silicon sacrament. Intel 4100. Microprocessors seed. No lumbering mainframes sprawl. This brain, thumbnail throne, crunches code with Apollo's might in minnow guise. Cascade follows. Calculators sprout from desks, consoles claim homes. Personal reckoners rise, screens blooming bytes. Your phone's pulse? Millions fold that lunar guidance's grunt, pocket oracle plotting paths undreamt. From 4100's lattice springs digital deluge, laptops light as leaves, servers stitching skies. Miniaturization's muse, it democratizes thought. Compute for all, horizons hacked small. Number 3. The box that started a revolution. January 1975 drapes popular electronics in prophecy. MIT's Altair 8800, Ed Roberts' brainchild. A metal loaf of lights and switches, kit for $300 even. Personal computer, Roberts coins, covers mock-up mocking fate. Real unit lost in mail's maw, yet orders avalanche. Assembly's right. Solder fumes, toggles flipped in binary prayer. No keyboard's caress, no screen's glow. Code carved in switch flip Morse. Hobbyists exalt, normies balk, but spark ignites. Bill Gates, Paul Allen, Forge, Basic Tongue, Microsoft born in basement blaze. Wozniak, Jobs, glimpse grace, plotting Apple's ease. Roberts fades to Georgia Clay, farm tilled, med school conquered, rural healer's coat donned. 2010's bed claims him. Gates slips in, tribute to the switchbox sage who sparked his empire. Altair's blinkered gaze birthed bizarre. From clunk to click, revolution rolled. Number 2. The computer that came in color. April 16th, 1977. West Coast Fair thrums as Jobs and Wozniak unveil Apple's retort. Apple II, beige beacon with keyboard's curve, speakers sigh. Rainbow rills on phosphor dream. No kits ordeal. Plug and play, inviting the uninitiated. This, I claim. Trinity crowns it. PET's pet. TRS-80's kin. 77's sacred spark. Proving silicon for souls, not suits alone. Schools script lessons in logo loops. Artists etch Pixel's palette. Homes hum with VisiCalc's verse. From Fair's flash, mainstream beckons. Compute as companion, tool turned talisman. World wheels turn, ever after changed. Number 1. The web that connected the world. 1989's CERN corridors echo with Tim Berners-Lee's puzzle. 10,000 minds from 100 lands, data adrift in silos. Britain's balm, World Wide Web, hypertexts loom weaving docs in linked light. Boss Mike Sendell scribbles, vague but exciting. With Robert Caillou, Lee codes core. Browsers birth pages, servers hum hyperlinks. December 20th, 1990. Inaugural site flickers on Next's glow. Red-inked ward. Server, do not power down. August 6th, 1991. Net's nod invites alliance. Explosion ensues. Sites sprout like spring. Forums forge forums. Commerce courts clicks. Eminent 80 Moments poll crowns it first. Fastest medium ever. Reshaping life eternal. From vague's veil to vast's embrace, web defies divide. Knowledge is agora, voices vortex, worlds whisper unified. Conclusion. 20 threads, 20th century's weave. Mold's mishap mending wounds, moon's dust under boot. Flights flutter folding skies. Exponential's era, these forge not tools but transformations. Lifespans lengthened, minds meshed, planets pierced. Legacy lingers, conditioners caress, jets distant drone, webs weave bearing this word. Foundations firm for futures unfolding. What spark stirs you deepest in this century's blaze?